is not recording. So I apologize. So now we're recording. You should all get like a little box or whatever. So, so a lot of times, now we'll go back to where we are on page 6. A lot of times, the A vowel, those 2 dots, people will pronounce as eh when they're singing it, when they're saying it, because they're glossing over it, right? They're reading fast, they're glossing over it. So for some people, those 2 vowels, the E vowel and the A vowel, the 3 dots and the 2 dots, are the same, come out the same out of their mouth. So I'm giving you that, but this is the correct pronunciation, okay?
So I'm a little confused on the first word on line 6.
Yes.
You pronounced it male,
Melche.
and it's not meleche. It's not meleche. It's male. You say those letters kind of together, the mem and the lamed.
Well, again, this is like a made up word, so I couldn't tell you what it grammatically should be, but there are 2 ways to pronounce this. It could be melche or meleche, right? Because if you just had the last 3 letters, it could be leche.
Yes.
Right? Because a l sound and a ch sound don't blend together.
Okay.
But yeah, I guess that's the confusing part. It's like in English, if it's following a vowel sound, the consonant would match with the previous vowel sound, making it mel. And then you'd move on to the next syllable.
Right. But that's why I showed you page 1, where there's that colon looking vowel, because in a Siddur, or when you read Hebrew, it will have that shva in the middle if you're supposed to stop there or not.
So by stop, you mean if you're supposed to go meleche, you're supposed to give it.
Exactly, because you're stopping the syllable.
Okay.
And that's why I'm pronouncing it melche. But again, you're not you don't know that yet. You haven't learned the shva, so you don't know not to do it or to do it, right? And before I confuse you with a vowel that's not even in today's lesson, you know what I'm saying? I'm trying to not confuse you. It's not like an S and a T that when you put it together is st, right? When you put a lamed and a chaf together, there is no blend to it. It doesn't blend well.
On line 10 on that page 6, where it's just the mem, how would you pronounce that? If it's
Ma.
Oh, okay.
Ma.
Not
Right.
So you are giving it a vowel sound.
I am giving it a vowel sound. It's like, just, you're right. It's, again, these aren't real words. We're just practicing what's the letter so that you can put this letter in your head is kind of where it, where they want you to be able to recognize and see these words. Okay. Marcy, you want to do line 9?
Sure. Meleche, mi melech, meleche, mi melech, meleche.
Right. So again, do you put something under the lamed or not? Do you verbalize the lamed, or do you just, so it could be meleche like you're saying, or is it meleche, right? How do you put that together? And that's a grammatical thing. When there's a real word, then we can.
Right. So it could also be melche.
Exactly.
Because I was going letter by letter. Got it.
Yeah. And that's fine. So.
Excuse me, I have a question.
Yes, Mariella.
At what point we learn the meaning of the word, the translation? Mimelech. What does it mean, Mimelech?
Mimelech means from the king.
Okay, but
so
when
we're not gonna really delve into what it means.
No, but at least the meaning of what we are pronouncing.
Right.
Because
so
when I learn Mimelech, Melech, and all this, but I don't know what does it mean What
Right.
am I learning?
When we get to putting these together into page 1, then we can go over what it means.
Oh,
But until first, we need to be able to read it in order to be able to say it, right? Which is weird
Right.
because usually in a language, you try to, when you're a baby, you're speaking the language first, then you learn how to read it. So we're kind of doing it together and it's a little bit more difficult, so. Okay. New vowel. There are 2 new vowels. They make the same sound, the ah sound. Okay. So, and at the bottom here, it says as in Shabbat. Right? So whether it's just the line or the little plus sign or whatever underneath, it's going to say ah. Okay. So we're introducing them together because they say the same thing. So line 1 is ma, 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 la, 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 la. Line 2 is ma, la, ma, la, la, ma, la, ma, la, la, ma, ma, right? So this is actually a good page when you're reading it to go over that ah vowel. And you'll see when we get to the bottom of the page, they're going to put all the vowels in for you. So this is actually a very good page to review all the vowels we've learned up until now. So, okay. So, excuse me. So let's go to line, where are we?
So on line 4,
Yes.
because the lamed is the final sound, would you just say mal
Yep.
or you say mal?
Nope, mal.
It seems like in the middle is where it might be a l, but at the end it would be mal, 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 mal. Okay.
Exactly.
Did that
Um,
change the little cross one? I learned that as awe.
So so we'll learn this at the very end of the class. There's something called a kamatz katan, which the one line, if you want to know the name of the vowel, is called a patach, P-A-T-A-C-H, patach. And the one that looks like a plus sign is called a kamatz, K-A-M-A-T-Z, kamatz.
Yeah.
There's something called a kamatz katan, which in the Siddur, that kamatz will be bolded, or the bottom plus sign will be rounded, and then you pronounce it oh, not ah. So, but that's like an exception to the rule that we'll learn later.
Okay, so both of them are ah now, because
They're
like
both
I said,
ah.
I learned the straight line is ah and the crossed one is aw. We're talking 60 years ago.
Yeah.
I was
So
wondering if that changed.
I mean, I'm only 51, so I don't know if it's changed since 60 years ago, but I don't think it's changed. I think it probably, again, you have to also remember we are learning Hebrew, Israeli Hebrew, right? There are, you've got the Ashkenazic and for all intents and purposes, we're talking about like an Orthodox minyan where they may be pronouncing things a little bit differently. Okay. And when we get to like the taf, they pronounce it with a s, right?
Right.
I don't know if you've ever been in Orthodox service, they say yiskadal and yiskadash. We don't. We say yitkadal and yitkadash because they're pronouncing it differently. And when we get there, I'll explain to you, when we get to the taf, especially because that's where you hear it mostly. So that might be is that the strict Ashkenaz or Orthodox pronounce it as an always, but it's So
a cute story that when I was a kid, I mean, I didn't take Hebrew or learn really how to read, but in confirmation class, we got a little bit of it when I was a kid, and we would learn with the Yitkada, and my grandmother was always correcting me, saying it's Yiskada. My father finally told her to stop confusing me, that things had changed. I still remember that. That's a memory that's stuck in my head.
Right, right. So that's, you know, again, and it's hard. If you grew up in an Orthodox setting, you're used to saying Yiskadal v'Yiskadash. So to then read Hebrew in modern Hebrew, which is more which pronounced a little bit differently, you know, it's hard for you to make that change. I had a woman in my class last semester who, you know, said, I'm still going to say it that way, even though, but that's how I grew up saying it and I can't change. And I get that. I'm totally, you know, I'm here to teach you what's grammatically correct. I can't force anything else on you. If you can't pronounce the guttural ha and you're going to say ha each time, that's fine too. All good. Everybody does it their way, so it's fine. Okay. Let's go to line 8. Marcy, did I have you read already?
Yeah.
Okay, so then it's Anne's turn, line 8.
Okay. Hey, leche, mal, malech.
Malche.
Oh, malche.
Yep. All good, all good. Okay. Hannah, line 9.
Sorry, coming off mute. Okay. Malche. Melech. Malche.
Perfect. Okay. Judy L, line 11. I'm skipping 10, so 11.
Okay. Me, lech, mimer, mimelech,
It's mimele.
mimelech, lech.
Perfect. And Mariella, do you want to do line 12?
Mi lehe, mi melech, meleche, mi meleche, meleche.
Okay. Remember that first one, that line is ah, right? So it's malche,
Malche,
mi melech,
melech,
malche.
malche,
Perfect.
mi melech, malche.
Perfect. Okay. So I think line 7 is a really good page for me to record some of the lines off of for you. By the way, I should have asked, did anybody use the recording? Did you like it? Did you not like it? Tell me.
Yes.
I liked it.
It was
Okay.
good.
So I'll continue to do that. Okay, perfect. And if you don't want to use it, you don't have to use it. But if nobody likes it, then there was no reason for me to keep doing it. So, okay, good. All right. Deep breath, page 8. Another,
Oh.
no, this is just like the A with the yud. When there's an E with the yud, also silent. Okay. So again, we're introducing you to, I don't know why they didn't do these together, but they're introducing you to when you're pronouncing the yud and not pronouncing the yud, even though you haven't learned the yud yet.
So what's the thing on the bottom with the arrow?
That's a regular word. Malachim.
Melachim, right?
Mel-
Malachim, because you're not pronouncing anything under the mem, so it's malachim.
Malachim.
But you don't know
That's
that
what
last, but you
in a-
don't know that last letter, so it doesn't matter.
Can you please tell me what does it mean, Malachim?
Malachim is the plural of kings.
Kings.
Lots of kings. So, okay. So, let's skip to, let me just find a good line. How about Judy Schwartz, line 9? You could go slow. And you know what? line 9 and just do the first 3 words because the last 2 are the same.
Melech. Malacha.
Malche.
Malche. Malachi.
Malachi, right? That it's hard when there's no vowel under it, but Malachi.
Okay, Malachi and Malachi.
Perfect. All right, Karen, line 10.
Mi melech malachi
Che.
malachi
Che.
malachi che.
Chi, right. Malachi. Yeah. It's hard. It's hard. Okay. So, so that is, again, just remembering that yud after the E sound makes the same sound. Okay. All right. Let me just, I'm just peeking to see. I don't want to cover too much today. Tell me, do you have it in you for one more letter, or is it too confusing? We learned 2 vowels today and the chaf, which is kind of the continuation from last week. We learned 2 vowels, and we kind of learned these 2 vowels that go with the E, with the yud, with the E and the A, but those aren't new. So are we okay to learn one more letter? I don't want you guys to be overwhelmed.
So maybe before, could you do the last line of page 7 and 8?
Yeah, the last line on page 7. Everybody ready? Malche, mi melech, malche, mi melech, malche. All right, and Mariella, the meaning. Malche are kings of. Right? When we say Shalom Aleichem and we're welcoming in the Sabbath and we're welcoming in God into our Sabbath table, we say Melachei Hamlachim, right? He is the king of all kings, God. So Melachei is the king of, right? Many kings. Mi Melech means from king. Right? The me prefix in any word means from. Okay. Page 8, line 10. I'll give everybody a second to get there. Is mi melech, malchei, melachi, melachi, melachi. All the same, those last 3. Right? Okay. So, page 9. Remember we had Chaf and Chaf Sofit, 20 minutes ago, 30 minutes ago. We now have Mem and Mem Sofit, meaning this box with the little tail on the top is a Mem that goes at the end of the word. So you'll only see that Mem at the end of a word. So line 1 is just the difference is just alternating with the first, with the M, with the mem that's in one, beginning or middle of a word, and the mem that's at the end. Line 2, mim, lim, chim, lam. Okay, so it's, again, this page is going to be another one I'll do for you because it's a really good review of all the vowels, all the letters that we've been doing up until now. Okay. So Karen, did you read a second? I'm trying to go around my screen.
Yes, I did.
Remember, you did. Okay, so Linda, you're up, line 3 on page 9.
Lem, lame, lame, lam, lame, mem.
Okay. I may have heard you or not heard you. The third word is lam,
Yeah.
then lam, mame,
Name, Mem.
Mem. Yeah,
Mhm.
okay, good. Jamie, line 4.
Maim, lame, him, him.
Perfect. So you saw those last 3 on that line, all pronounced the same with a yod, without a yod. Okay. Line 5 is just this, all the same word going across. Marcy, line 6.
Lachim, lachim, malachim.
Okay. Melachim. So you see the exclamation point at the end of that word?
Yeah.
The people that wrote this book get so excited when they teach you a word that's in Shalom Aleichem that they put a little exclamation mark at the end
I
of it.
wonder why that was there.
Exactly. So I'm going to now run up to page 1.
So,
And
so it's Melachni, or is it?
Malachim, right? Because there's nothing
Malachim.
under the mem, so you have to try to blend it.
So you're trying to blend it, not going Mlachim.
Correct.
Okay.
Correct.
Mlachim. Like
Malachim, right.
Mlah.
Right. And so I'm going to show you on page 1, line 2 of the song. Actually, I'm going to share my screen. Second here, I have like a lot of stuff up from work and whatever, so I'm just hoping I don't show the wrong thing. Okay. If you see financial statements or a presentation like about the business, then you'll know that you're on the wrong screen. Okay, this word that I just circled. Ham lachim. Remember, I told you there's this vowel, right? So, and Hannah, this is where like you'll never have nothing in the middle of a word. So we're not going to ever have this problem. But we haven't learned it yet. So they're trying to give you things to read without it. That word is ham lachim. Right? So if I sing these first 2 lines for you, and I'm going to point to the words as I sing them like the little bouncy ball. Shalom aleichem, malachei hasharet, malachei elyon. This word you know, mi melech, malachei hamlachim, right? So we know these 3 words now. We could say these 3 words all on our own, right? If we had to read these 3 words after today, we know them.
Oh, we haven't done the hay yet, but yeah.
Correct. We haven't done the hay yet. Okay, fine. I'll give you that. But by the way, that's the next letter, first letter of next week. But see how it repeats in this song, right? So that is why they get so excited in this book, that they've taught you something new that you could go back to. I almost said Shir Malot, Shalom Aleichem, and you can read that word. So, okay. And line 8.
Okay.
On back to page 9, sorry, and I'll stop sharing because I like to see your faces. Line 8.
Malche, malachim, melech, malache, malachim.
Okay. Try with those where there's no vowel to try to not say a vowel. Again, it's hard. It's very hard. So like line 8, that second word would be mulachim. That the last word is the second to last word is malache, right? It's very hard not to say the vowel under it, but for this purpose, we're going to try. So Hannah, line 9.
Okay. Mi melech, Mlache, mlache.
Ma, right? You have to say the vowel under the ah.
Oh,
leaf.
sorry.
So, I mean, under the
Mal,
mem.
yeah, malche.
Uh-huh.
Mlachim.
Yes.
Hmm.
Yes. Okay, it's hard. Judy L, line 10.
Mimelech, malhe, malachim.
Right? Malachim. Right.
Malachim.
Perfect. Perfect. It's hard. That blending when there's no vowel under there is very hard. So it doesn't happen often in Hebrew. I don't know why they're doing it to confuse you at the very beginning of the book, but they are. Okay. That's where we're going to stop, is page 9. Questions. Comments. Anything. All right.
So this notion of blended consonants, though, is not common, is what you're saying.
It's not common in the Hebrew language. No,
Okay.
no. It's an exception rather than the rule. It's not like we have, you know, that, like I said, the S and the T or the S and the L or, you know, any of that. T and the R, we don't have that.
Could you do page 11 for us?
Oh, I don't have that page.
Page 11,
I don't have that
Yeah.
yet.
page 11 has a hey in it, and we haven't learned the hey yet. So let's wait till now. I'm going to do pages 7 and 9
Okay,
on the tape. We're going to take it slow. Next week, we will learn the hey in page 10. We'll learn the shin. We'll learn the O and the O vowel that goes with it. And we may or may not get to the ayin. We'll see. So we're gonna, again, we have plenty of time. We're going to, I don't want to take it too fast because then you have the possibility of losing a letter, right? Or confusing 2 letters. So it seems babyish and slow, but if we learn too many letters at once, then we confuse them. So
How many total vowel vowel symbols are there?
it's a good question. I think you only have 2 more to learn, but there's 4 of them, right? There's 2 more sounds. Hold on, let me go to the end of the book. I'll tell you. There's like a review at the end of the book. Let me see. Boop-a-doop-a-doo. Okay. There are, again, 2 ahs, 2 a's, which we know the a's, 2 e's, we've learned that, 2 oo's, and 2 ohs. So we have 2 more to learn, the ooh and the oh. And then
There's no I equivalent.
that would be the E, let's say, like
Well,
double E.
That's technically a long.
There's no
E
I like igloo,
Yeah, there's no I.
no I like igloo.
You
Or
said there's
I.
2 A's, but I only know the double dot A. There's
2 is-
another A.
Yeah, the one with the yud.
Oh, okay,
Yeah, see?
good.
Yeah, we're calling that a vowel, but you already kind of know, but
Okay,
it's that combination is a vowel.
Okay.
The 2 dots with the yud next to it is a combination vowel.
so the yud only goes with A and E. If
So-
you don't say the yud, it's a vowel.
Correct.
Okay, kind of
The
like a
yud-
Y.
The yud's like the Y.
Y
It
in
could be a
English.
vowel
Y.
and it
Mhm.
could be a consonant. When we learn the consonant, yeah, it's going to have different vowels under it.
Right. Okay.
There's also, I was telling Linda before, when the kamatz katan, that little plus, says oh instead of ah. So that's an exception to the rule, but it's not learning a new symbol, let's say. Right? So that's, you know, that's something that will
Like an
happen.
I before E except after C kind of situation.
I'm sure it's equivalent.
It's more of like, you wouldn't know that it's a kamatz katan unless you know. So for example, the word kol in Hebrew, let me see if we have kol here. We don't. Okay. And some of you haven't printed the whole book, so which is fine. The word
Can you write
kol,
it on a
like
blackboard?
if you're, yeah, let me write on the blackboard. Thank you. Oh, look, I have last week's. Haha. Excellent. Okay. Here we go. So the word kol, whoops, I have to write. It didn't give me my writing thing. Okay. The word kol, this is a lamed, sorry, is pronounced like that. Is said like that. So even though it looks like the word kal, it's kol. You wouldn't know that unless you're told that.
There's no like rule associated with it.
Right. There's no, you wouldn't know unless it is. I'm just looking to find, hold on one second. I'm looking to find, I want the text. Okay, so I'm going to share my screen now. Continue. I'm going to share this. Oops. Here's the text to the mourner's Kaddish, and I'm going to try to make my screen a little bigger. There we go. Okay. So down here, right? Oseh shalom b'mirmav hu yaseh shalom aleinu ve'al kol Yisrael. This kol here always, always, always has what looks like an olive on what looks like the plus sign under it, but it's pronounced oh. And again, if you open up your Siddur, you're gonna and the Kaddish is easy to find in your Siddur, which is why I picked the Kaddish as something to look for, and it's the fourth word from the end of the Kaddish, right? So if you open up a Siddur at home, you're gonna see that it's either bolded or that let me get my whiteboard out again. I guess I have to stop sharing to do the whiteboard. Right? You'll see not a plus. It will either be bolded or they'll actually like make it a little round. It'll almost be like a little teardrop there so that you know that it's an O sound. Just trying to see if I have a Siddur or a tikkun here. Which I don't. That box has not been unpacked yet. I usually have a Siddur next to, I'm going to make sure next week I have a Siddur next to my computer. Because most Siddurim will have that in it to show you the difference. But again, we haven't learned it yet, so don't fret over it. So we have 2 more vowels to learn with 4 more sounds. I'm sorry, 2 more sounds to learn that have 4 vowels that go with them, right? And then the exception to the rule. And Hannah, there is an I before E except after C sort of rule with the different letter combination, and that'll be again the last 2 weeks of class. We'll go over a couple of the exceptions to the rule, but we're nowhere near there yet because there's 22 letters to learn too. So, anything else? Any questions? Anything, Dina? I'm so sorry that I just saw you in there. Did you have trouble getting in, or you're muted?
Well, I have a question.
Mariella, yes.
Yes. When I want to learn on my own, because I am way behind, do you have a suggestion of where to start? Is it better to start with the vowels and then the syllables and then start and put in the short words?
I mean, if you if you're behind in our class right now, I would just take every page of the book and go one by one And all you need to do is get to page 9. We've covered through page 9 now. So just get to page 9. And I'm going to send a recap email. I'm actually going to, when I sent my recap email on Monday, I didn't do my full recap, which is usually, here are the letters we learned, here are the names of them, and we've gotten to page whatever. I'm going to do that. And I'm going to say, this is last week's recap. This is this week's recap. So you have it all in one email. And that way you'll have it. But I would, Mariella, start on page 2, go through everything. Let's see if last week's recording is up on the on the Women's League website. Let's see here.
I had trouble getting onto the Women's League website because it keeps saying put in a password, but I don't have a password and I'm not registered and I couldn't find any way to register. So it's
Okay,
really
so
kind of
I'm gonna in my recap email, I will tell you who to call, Karen in the office, who will set you up with a password,
okay, great.
and she'll help you get in there.
Thank
Okay,
you.
so here it is. And yes, there is a recording of September 9th class, Mariella. So also we'll figure out how to get you on there so you can listen to the recording of the class so that you can catch up.
You.
Lymor,
Yeah.
so with regard to the Women's League site, I already have a password because I'm membership vice president of our sisterhood, so I have to do things on that website. Is that the same way I would get in to get to the classes, or do I have to get a different password?
Yep, no, you get in the same way. And if you
Okay.
go to my account, here, I'm going to share my screen.
I should write this down.
I'm going to share my screen. This is the screen. Okay, so you log in. Okay, and this is what you see. And if you log in, it's going to ask for your password and everything. And you log in. And then download WLCJ member materials. And then you've got lots of stuff here. There's lots of different things here. Here, Hebrew classes is where you're going to go. You're going to pick this semester, beginner Hebrew, me, and then the September 9th class. So, and there's lots of great stuff on this website about Torah Fund. If you don't know about Makom B'Yachad, that is something that you should know about. Makom B'Yachad is it meets 3 times a week, Tuesdays, Wednesdays, and Fridays. And it is, it basically started as a way during the pandemic, during the lockdown, for people to be able to say Kaddish together. And it's turned into like a study session and that sort of thing. So Tuesdays we learn from Rabbi, I don't remember what kind of Talmud. And Judy L., if you have to go, just shut down and go.
I'm sorry.
If you have to go, just shut down and go.
Yes, I'm going to be doing that in about
Okay,
1 minute.
fine, no problem. I don't want you to feel I'm just kind of talking about something else now, which has nothing to do with anything.
Thank you.
So Makombe, and anybody else that has to go, please just hang up. Don't worry about me. Okay. First we do a Mishaberach, and you could say a Mishaberach for anyone who's in need of healing. And you can go on here actually and look at one of the recordings, and you'll see, you'll see basically what it's about. We read the Psalm of the day. We do a prayer for Ukraine. If it's Rosh Chodesh, we'll do the Rosh Chodesh prayer, whatever. We'll learn a little bit of Talmud from one of the rabbis, and we'll say Kaddish. So if you have to say Kaddish and you can't make it to your synagogue, this is a great way to do it. But it really is very informative. And if you get on if you get onto the Zoom link a few minutes before, and if you need the Zoom link, let me know, I'll send it to you. If you get on the Zoom link a few minutes before, some of the women will chat and that sort of thing. And that's nice. So but it's a nice way to get to know people in different areas of the country that are involved in sisterhood. A lot of board members on there, a lot of interesting information on there. And they'll do on Fridays, they do a Parshat HaShavua. So one of us, like you, me, anybody, can teach Parshat HaShavua. So we learn about this week's Parsha. And on Rosh Chodesh, they will usually do Hallel, and these three ladies will lead Hallel. It's wonderful. Any special occasions, they'll do some special programming. They did like a crazy Purim program. They'll do all kinds of special programming as well on there. So it's just a nice, again, it was really great. My father died right before the lockdown. So I got on there because I wanted to say Kaddish for my father during the lockdown. And it was very comforting to have like a community around me since I couldn't go to my shul and whatnot. And it used to be 6 days a week during the lockdown. And then they pared it down to this 3 days a week, Tuesday, Wednesday, Friday, excuse me. So, but anyway, but there's lots of stuff on here. So it's always good to kind of, go through this website and take a look at what's here and be like, oh, if you go into education, I'll pump another one of the things that I do here. I'm one of the chairs for Women's League for the sustainability. So if you go to sustainability, you'll see the last few programs we had, which is nice. And we had we're talking about water these days. So you can go in there and see that. So
Lymor,
yeah.
can you send the information about adding a login? Because I also don't have one.
Yes. Here's what I'm going to do. I'm going to send the entire class an email saying, hey, if you need help logging in, here's who you contact, blah, blah, blah. And I will copy Karen. And that way you'll have her information. She'll know you're all going to call her. That way you can, that way she won't be bombarded, whatever. She's off on Fridays. So you'll have to try her on Monday. And she's very helpful and she will be able to get you on the website.
Thank you.
Okay. And since I know you're all registered sisterhood members, that's the first thing she needs to do. And since you've registered for the class, you wouldn't have been able to register for the class if you weren't a, current sisterhood member. So that part's solved for her, which is nice. As opposed to somebody calling out of the blue, she has to then go looking up, are you a sisterhood member? Right. So this way, if I send it to the whole class, she'll know that you've already been vetted and confirmed that you're a sisterhood member.
Okay, great.
All right, Dina, I saw you came on late. You're muted still. You're still muted. If you want to call me afterwards, I happen to have a 3 o'clock meeting for work. That's probably going to be 20-30 minutes, but then I'm around the rest of the day. So if you want to call me later or over the week, or actually don't call me after Sunday. I'm going on a business trip. Oh my God. So yeah, if you want to call me later today, that would be good. Okay. All right, everyone, Shabbat Shalom. I'm sorry I kept you so
Shabbat
long
Shalom.
today. I'll see you next week. If you have any questions, email or call me during the week. I am on a business trip from Sunday to Thursday, so I won't be able to. I'm usually I didn't realize it was still showing my screen. I usually am standing at my computer at work and I get back to everybody pretty quickly. This week it won't be so quick. So, but I will look at my emails every night. So, okay.
Thank you.
Thank you. Have a
Okay.
good weekend.